Cool. So the market just opened Monday markets. So we're gonna mark up right now. We're gonna mark up gold. We're gonna see what market has for us today. Hopefully, we're able to catch a good trade to start off the week strong. Last week was a very choppy week for us. A lot of manipulation, a lot of ranges going on with gold, right? So that's something I do hope not happens this week, right? So check this out. This was pretty much what was going on last week. Market price action. We have all of these exact ranges over here. We were able to take 4 trades in this exact range here, which was very not good trades at all. We end up getting stopped out in all 4 of them until we got a good trade here on Wednesday, which played out for a very nice 1 to 2, and then we got a good trade as well on Thursday, which played out for a 1 to 2.8 risk to reward, right? And then on Friday we end up taking a loss. So last week was a very choppy week. Hopefully this week we do have way better price action. We were literally coming from a very nice win streak, just winning straight wins every single day. But it's fine. Everything happens all the time. Like these type of mistakes here happens all the time. So it's not really stress about it. It's just you going back and just making sure you don't make the same exact mistakes. So we're gonna start marking up right now. We're gonna start off from a weekly time frame. So we're gonna do this all over again, right? We're gonna do these live video calls so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking for and how exactly do I look for these type of trades, right? So we're gonna start off here with gold on the weekly time frame. So let's mark out the previous weekly highs and the lows from the previous weeks. So it's going to be very important zones for potential targets, potential sweeps. So we're going to mark this out as weekly. We have the weekly highs here, and then we have the weekly lows here. Perfect. So we're going to go back into the daily time frame, and then the daily time frame, we're going to technically see exactly where price action was rejecting off the previous days, right? So if I'm looking here at the weekly time frame from the previous week, we can definitely see that price action did end up managing to respect around these zones here, which was the weekly lows, right? So going a little bit deeper into the 4 hour, let's see exactly what level is this. Okay, so let me just kind of like push this a little bit higher. Definitely gonna be one of these. Okay, so it's gonna be considered as the weekly lows from the previous week, and as well it looks like price action did end up coming here yesterday during the market open, and we kind of like swept out of this previous lows here, having another bullish reaction towards the upside. So if we're looking at this off a weekly time frame, right, we can see that previous week, which was last week, we did have a bearish week, right? But obviously if we look at it from a daily time frame perspective, we can clearly see how the daily is just simply formed that daily higher low, right? So we have these previous lows here, which as you guys can see, price action was able to reject off all of these exact lows over here, which pretty much caused this entire bullish move towards the upside, right? So it's just something else to have marked up. It's not really important, but this is just more of a idea of understanding what exactly market action is doing, right? Like the market trend. So in this case, if you guys look at it from the previous sides, right, we have the lows here, we have the high, we have the higher lows, and then we have a new high, right? Price action does the same exact history over here. We have a low, we have a high, a higher low, and then we have a new high. And then if we look at it from this previous market action, we have the similar exact formation. We have a low, we have a high, and now we also have a potential higher low forming, right? Now this potential higher low forming, it is coming back to retest these exact daily key levels here, which as you guys can see is going to be these previous highs over here, which is going to be marked up around the 33.28 zones, right? 33.28 to the 33.30 areas, right? Previous areas of highs, price action was able to take above those highs here, pulling back, forming a new higher lows, right? Now if we're kind of looking at this off a daily time frame perspective, we can see these exact candlesticks over here. Very indecisive candlesticks, right? We can see that price action is heading towards the upside, price action heading towards the downside, really not making up its mind, right? There's a lot of ranges going on between these exact zones here. So this is the zones that I obviously want to be very careful due to the fact the same exact mistakes that happened last week, right? Price action was just ranging up and down, rejecting off the key levels that I wanted, but ranging up and down, so there was never really good entry for us, right? Now every single setup that I took last week, the losses that I took, the only reason why I ended up taking those losses was because I was trading inside of the ranges, right? I did see that price action was ending up respecting these levels. I was just waiting for a specific break of structure. It did give it to me, but we were still inside of a range which still makes it very, very high risk for us, right? Same thing happened over here. We were rejecting these levels over here. We end up taking some sells, but price action was just inside the ranges over here, which obviously ranges, it just moves up and down, right? So whenever there's ranges that move up and down, there's not really a clear direction. Even if price action is rejecting off a major structure from a higher time frame, if there's no proper break of structure off of major highs or major lows, or just swept out of all of those highs or lows, then one of those trades here obviously it's going to be invalid. So that's one of the mistakes I did end up making up from last week, which was just simply just trading inside of a range, which really fucked it up in this case. But it is what it is. We're just going to be marking this up here. Let me see the camera. I don't know if the camera's working or not. But we're going to mark this up here. So we already understand that on the daily time frame perspective, right, we have seen multiple daily bounces from this structure here, right? So there is a potential bullish move pretty much forming. Now, another thing that we want to go look over is going to be on the 4-hour structure, which obviously in the 4-hour structure compared to the daily and the weekly time frame is completely different trend. So if we take a look here at the 4-hour time frame with gold, we can see that gold, obviously after this entire push towards the upside, we're coming back towards these exact supply zones, right? You guys can clearly see this exact supply zone here, which is going to be marked up around the 3,400, right? That was the previous highs that price action was able to make this new month, right? Which is August. I don't know who's that. Which is August, right? And then after that, we started getting a push towards the downside, coming back to retest basic daily structure, right? Which was previous highs. You guys can clearly see highs here, highs, 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 right? Price action did reject it at one time. We were stuck in a range. We had another push towards the upside. But what we were going over here, we're looking at the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame has a completely different type of structure, right? So we went from creating these new highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, highs, to now breaking underneath, creating these new lows, a lower high and a low, and now forming another lower high here, right? So this is where we have to be very, very careful, right? So this is, if we look at it from a 4-hour perspective, we did see that price session did end up rejecting off these broken structure over here, right? So look, check this out. We end up rejecting off these exact broken structure. So this is something just to kind of like pull it out here in the past. Look at it from a daily perspective. We definitely rejected off some previous daily highs. There you go. You see that? So if we look at it from a daily time frame, we have a daily highs, a low. We end up breaking underneath these, or let me just do this better. We have a daily low, high, higher lows, higher high, break underneath these other previous higher lows, forming a new low to now forming a lower high, retest these broken structure, okay? So we also have these other previous highs over here, which obviously in the previous price action, we did see that price action did reject underneath these exact resistance zones, we can say, and we did see some type of seller actions, right? So we look at it from this market session, we did see that price action did bounce off from this structure, push the market towards the upside, retest this broken structure, which obviously it failed, continue dropping the market towards the downside. Price action comes back towards these exact zones. As you guys can see, we're continue holding above, right? So at this point over here, the market is very indecisive because we're pretty much respecting both levels from the daily time frame and both levels from a 4 hours perspective time frame, right? So in this case here, it just shows that market is just obviously in ranges in a sense. So this is where we have to be very careful because either the daily time frame plays out or the 4 hour time frame plays out, right? It really depends on the market structure and how it really wants to overall just trade it, right? So that's just something to have in mind. That's just something to have in mind in this case here. So going back into the 4 hour time frame, we understand that this happened here mid-week of last week, which was Wednesday. It happened last week on Wednesday. We did form that weekly midweek lower high here. So we're just gonna have this markup here. It's not really important, but just to have it in mind. Now let's go down into an intraday time frame structure. So intraday time frame structure, if we look at it, right, obviously we had this disgusting range here with these really nasty ranges. So we're gonna put this in red to have that in mind. We had the breakout towards the upside. We got the rejection. We got the first sell. Price action comes back. Same exact rejection. Take above these highs over here, forming this exact what was this pattern here? This is called the head and shoulder pattern, right? So you guys can clearly see how we took a sell off the left pattern here with the left head. or the left shoulder, right? You have the left, you have the head, and then you also have the right shoulder over here rejecting off this exact structure, right? So this is the reason why I end up taking these exact cells. So we had a cell here, we also had another cell over here, which was very simple, very nice, simple cells. Now, if we take a look here at Friday price action, what do we have? We also have another ranges, very similar to the one that happened on Monday and Tuesday, right? Just ranges and just ranges. We come here, this was Sunday market open, which was yesterday. Perfect. We have a break towards the upside, right? Breaking above this exact structure. Simple. You guys can see that? Breaking above all of these exact previous structure. So in this case, we're gonna mark this one, or let me just look at it from a higher perspective. Should be above a previous, yeah, it should be above these exact H4 highs. Right, so it's very simple. In this case over here, if we're looking at it from a market perspective, we can clearly see that it's just forming the simple market structure, those new highs and those new lows. And the reason why I kind of like exactly what market is doing right now, many reasons. We are coming back towards the daily structure, which is these exact previous highs, previous areas of resistance. We have seen already one rejection. We have an internal highs over here. Then price action comes back, forms these equal lows over here, respecting exactly all of these exact lows over here, having another push towards the upside. So in this case here, we might be able to catch a reversal trade, which we'll be looking for a buy position if it respects exactly all of these highs over here, right? So we have Sunday sweeps out of all of these previous lows over here. You guys can clearly see that price action has came back towards the zone 3 times in a row. Those 3 times in a row, we have seen that price action has obviously maintained itself above these exact demand zones, right? So we have the first rejection, the first push, we have the second rejection, the second push, we have the third rejection and the third push, right? Now we look at it from the third perspective push, which was yesterday. We also see that price action was able to break out of this exact ranges over here, which currently right now price action is forming, right? Or retesting it. Now, are we going to be entering a trade right away? Of course not. We're going to have to look for now key levels where we will be interested in really buying the market or selling the market. So it's going to be very simple. For us to be buying the market today, I think best bet for us will definitely be waiting for price action to break above all of these highs here. Or maybe we can probably take a high risk. The only reason I don't want to be taking a high risk right now is just due to the fact that we were coming from a losing week from last week. So it's going to be very intense if we take those high risk trades. We want to be safe here. We want to play it out correctly. But let me check this out real quick. We have these lows over here, which I can definitely see that we can probably play out some sells here. Or maybe we're going to be back inside these ranges. And I mean, overall price action looks like shit, not going to lie. Oh, the lower time frame looks like shit. But let's see. Definitely we'll be waiting for, then I think we will have to be waiting for these exact, or best bet we'll be waiting for these 30-minute highs to get broken out, right? This 30-minute highs over here, because this is exactly where price action was having these type of ranges from. So this is mostly London session. We have the break during the New York session, which was the 8 p.m. 8 p.m. was, or 8 a.m. was exactly this candle here, which was these previous lows, which price action was able to break out from, which is fine. We have the 15 minutes. Okay, kind of understand what's going on here now. So we have these highs. We're gonna obviously have to mark these up higher. Definitely have to be like this. We're gonna have to make these darker. Have to be dark in that in case. So this was okay, so this is kind of the ranges that was going on during the whole entire session. So these ranges over here was during the London session. We had a London break, respect, and then we also have this highs over here, which is kind of holding. This is a little bit different color. All right. So we have these highs over here, which price action was obviously rejecting bounce and bounds. We have these exact lows over here, which was broken during the early New York session. This happened at 8:50. So technically, if we would have taken a trade here, our entry would have been somewhere between these lows. Our stop loss would have been above these highs here, and then we would have been simply looking for that, obviously, target all the way back down over here. So this would have been one of the sell positions that I could have possibly taken, which is playing out the way that I would expect it in a sense. We got everything that I wanted to look for. This over here would have played out probably for a, yeah, like almost not even TP2. So this would have been probably a high risk sell that we would have taken earlier if I was in the market. But as of right now, there's no clear direction of us making us want to get in this trade, right? So this makes it clear that for us to be looking for a second potential opportunity here with sells, what are we going to wait for? The best bet here is going to be waiting for these lows over here to get broken now. Exactly these demand zones. This will definitely be a good area for us to be taking a sell. So this is where we have to be very patient overall, because if we're looking at it from this exact ranges over here, they're obviously previous highs, previous lows, which price action can just simply come. Price action can literally come here, starts rejecting it off, and then start having to switch the structure. So that's one thing that we have to be very cautious about whenever we are trading these type of market condition, due to the fact that the market is just going to do whatever it wants at this point here, right? We're going to respect these highs here. It's going to push high, right? Even if it doesn't make any sense, the market is going to be doing those type of, those type of things that is going to really mess us up in a sense, right? So we're going to go back here in the intraday time frame, and we're going to see exactly the high that price action was able to reject, which obviously we're looking at it. It's going to be these exact supply right here. Very, very simple. These exact highs, which was equal highs. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so we're coming back, respecting off or rejecting off these highs over here. It's insane. See, that's one thing that I like about gold. That gold really respects levels to levels. But whenever you look for these entry respecting those levels to level, it is very, very aggressively. That's what I would like to say with gold. It is very aggressively whenever you're looking for those type of entries with these type of levels. But anyways, so we have kind of the idea what's going on here with the market, right? We're looking at it from an intraday time frame perspective. We're currently in a bearish market, but from a higher time frame perspective, we're still in a bullish market. So that's what I was telling you guys. Today, the market's going to be like the type of market condition, which is very indecisive. Either we respect the 4-hour structure, we can go with the 4-hour sells, or we can either respect the daily structure and we can go with the daily buys, right? So let's see what's going on today. I gotta send out these analysis here in the Telegram. But like I was showing you guys, take a look here. These were the exact sells that I was looking for from this point, which was going to be underneath these lows, and then our stop loss would have been above these highs. And then notice how we're kind of getting that push underneath, which would have been the idea move, right? Right now would have been back at TP1. Would have been an idea move. Now it's too late because now we're technically trading inside the ranges here. So for us to be taking another sell, definitely have to be underneath these lows. So the only thing I kind of turns me off is gonna be these lows over here, because I think we're gonna have to definitely wait here to actually get a way better confirmation than just taking it underneath these lows here. Yeah, I think this is way better. That's exactly what we're gonna wait for, guys. So you guys can kind of take a look at this, how price action is already having that decline move towards the downside. This here would have been a nice entry for us, honestly. Sucks that I wasn't in the market very earlier. This happened super early. This happened at 8:50, like a while ago, almost an hour ago. Okay. And we came back to the entry. That's crazy. Okay, whatever. So that's going to be our confirmation for today, guys. So we're going to be looking for a sell position underneath these exact lows. And if price session, let's say the price session ends up respecting these lows over here. So we have lows, lows, lows. Let's say those are demand zones, right? Let's say the price session was able to respect those lows. Uh, the best bet for us here, honestly, I think we will have to wait for a proper break of structure, which will be above these previous highs over here. So technically trading inside these ranges here on the 1 minute time frame. If we do end up respecting these highs, then obviously we will want to wait for that break of structure above it, and then that's exactly where we'll be looking for those buy position. And then our stop loss will be underneath these exact demand spots. So right now, there's nothing really going on. There's nothing really telling us, hey, we're going to be entering this trade right away. So we're going to have to be patient in this case here, and we're going to wait for those type of setups. So this is exactly what we're going to look for. We're going to give sell an opportunity if price action is able to reject off these lows here. So if price action continues with this exact bearish move and we break underneath these lows, close underneath the same exact way the price action did over here, right? So this is exactly how I enter the market. I wait for the breakout, wait for the retest, and then the entry confirmation will be underneath these previous low wick, right? So I want to see exactly price action to do all of this, right? Just let me delete this. Let me show you guys the candle. I want price action to give me this exact candle. These exact candle formation underneath these previous lows here, which is going to be the major lows, right? So that's exactly what I want to see gold do to us. Now, let's say that gold from this point over here, we're just bouncing up. I'm not going to be looking for the buys inside here because now we're technically entering these ranges, right? So notice how we have to mark up zones to zones and then avoid the ranges, right? So that's exactly how I trade these levels, right? So in this case here, if price action, let's say that it just bounced it off and we're just doing this, I'm not going to be entering a buy until we get the breakout. As of right now, we're seeing that price action is currently back at the same exact zones. It's going to be very risky for us to enter buy here. So if we don't really get the tap towards these lows here, how I'm anticipating, and let's say the price action comes back inside in these ranges here, then I won't be looking for another trade. And then that means that the next trade that I will be looking for will simply be a buy setup above these highs over here. And then these buy setups over here will obviously make way more sense because again, we have rejection towards these demand, breakout of structure, all of these exact previous structures over here, and then start having the switch of structure forming new structures. We have new highs here, which can definitely be targets. We have a target here, and we also have another target there. Now, worst case scenario, since we are trading off the intraday time frame structure, we are seeing rejection towards these exact highs over here, which obviously we did see the bearish reaction. So the best bet here obviously will be for these lows to get taken out. Those lows to get taken out and break underneath, that will make way more sense than for us to be taking those type of sells, right? So as of right now, look at price action is heading towards these lows. Really wish we were in those sells earlier. That would have been a very nice sell. Would have been over. We would have definitely hit a 101 right now. Yeah, look at that. Would have hit take profit too. Would have been a very nice sell, nasty sell. But let's see. This is the moment of truth in this case here, because once we start breaking underneath these lows, that means that again market structure has completely flipped the switch. Because again, notice how this was previous highs, higher lows. So technically, this is still holding as a higher low, pushing towards the upside. Market is not coming here. We're probably going to be forming that equal lows, and then we're just going to have to wait to see exactly what's going to happen, right? But check this out. Notice how we're already kind of having that bounce from it. So notice how price action is already rejecting from it. So you see, you guys can kind of pick it up from here, right? Notice how we're having that rejection. So now, what exactly am I going to wait for? I'm going to wait for a candle closure above these highs. It will be a high risk, but definitely worth taking that risk there because again, we are seeing everything that we want to see. We have rejection of a daily structure. We have the broken structure of a 1 hour time frame, intraday time frame, which is previous highs. Price action is forming a new high, taking above all of these highs here. So you guys can kind of already see the switch structure, right? So we have this high, low, lower highs, low, sweep off these exact previous lows here, rejection of the daily structure, push towards the upside, form a new high here, breaking out of this exact structure. Price action is now retesting it, right? So that's something that we should definitely have in mind. And we're coming back towards these exact 5-minute demand zones. So this makes it even way better for us to look for that potential buy position if we actually close above here or close above these levels here. But let's see. Now, again, worst case scenario, we simply just trade off the intraday structure, and then we can just simply clean off all of these exact traffic that happened yesterday. So if we end up breaking underneath these lows, it will make more sense, and then we're able to take that sell position to then target back down to these weekly lows. And let's say the price action just continues breaking under, then we were wrong with the buy position, but at least we were able to understand the sells due to the fact that we were looking more into the intraday time frame, right? So that again, if we go into the daily time frame perspective, again, we're kind of basically technically trading inside of daily ranges, right? Which also really makes the market very, very indecisive, right? So the daily ranges over here, we're respecting these exact daily lows. Daily lower high, coming back, sweeping out all of these exact highs over here. So the daily looks crazy. The daily actually looks very crazy. The 4 hour time frame as well looks crazy. But let's see. So we're just forming these type of market structure going on now. All right, so check this out. The 5-minute candle has closed underneath. So now this is a good sign for us. Now what we're gonna wait for, we're gonna wait for that minor pullback for us to enter that sell. So we kind of have already a entry confirmation loading up here. Our stop loss is gonna be above these highs, and then our take profits is gonna be underneath these lows. So technically we got everything that we want to see now. So we're getting ready to actually enter these trades. So let me just get ready to set up the limit. $33.37 will be my entry. So you see, now this is, there can be multiple scenarios going on. If we start breaking and close back above that ranges there, then this sell is invalid, but technically we got everything we wanted to see. All right. So we're like 3 minutes in this 5. Let me see the 15. Oh, check this out, guys. You know what? That 15 looks pretty nasty in a sense because those can be that 15 minutes sweep. Okay. We're just playing the waiting game here, guys. I do like that 5 minute. I don't like that 15 minutes though. Let me see the 30. Okay. Only thing that turns me off will be that 15-minute structure. Because again, those are 15-minute sweep out of these lows. And you gotta keep in mind, we're still trading these type of structure. We have a high, we have a higher low, a high, and a push. Coming back, respecting off all of these structures here, forming that low. So check this out. We're technically already having that fake out. So this is something that was good for us to avoid. So right now we're gonna delete this limit because it does not make any sense no more for us. We're having where that 15-minute time frame is just booming towards the upside. So in this case here, what we're gonna wait for, it's exactly what I was telling you guys. We're gonna wait for that break above these highs here now. So 1 minute time frame, there. Look at that. So it's definitely gonna have to be one of those setups here. We have the accumulation over going on here. We also had that fake out, the manipulation towards the downside, and now we're gonna have that distribution. So all we're gonna wait for is for the market to have that push and break structure above these highs here. Worst case scenario, where we're gonna look for sells will definitely be underneath these lows. So all we're simply doing is just moving it a little bit lower. Moving it a little bit lower because this is exactly the zones where price action had the reaction from. So this is definitely something to be very, very patient about. Again, these were the mistakes that I made last week for not being patient enough in a sense. And we kept getting faked out. So this is very important for us at this case. So we're gonna just wait to see what happens here. just simply waiting. In the meantime, while we wait, gotta set up these analysis for the groups. That's another thing we gotta do now here. So let me just organize this. So take a look here at the 5-minute time frame, how the 5-minute time frame was able to respect off these lows here, forming that simple breaking structure. So we have the break here, the first break, the pullback, rejection, the first break, the pullback, rejection. All we're waiting for is for these lows to get broken out. Once we break underneath these lows, then I will be entering that sell. But so right now, we don't want to be trading in kind of like inside here. Doesn't make any sense. So once we get that actual break, let's see that 15-minute time frame. See that 15? That's a 15-minute sweep out of those previous lows there. So that's why I'm saying it's like very risky for us to be entering right away off that impulse. Because what are the chances that this 5-minute candle here is just, again, respects it and then boom, having that push. It's a very high percentage, right? So again, patience. We're just going to wait for these lows to get taken out. And then we're going to be entering those sells if it happens. If not, then we respect these lows, and then we have the other setup forming up right over here. We just have taken these sells here, but look at this 5-minute candle. We were able to hit take profit too, but that 5-minute candle literally just swept out all of these exact lows over here, which is not nicely looking. The 15-minute time frame, we look at it from the previous 15, we did close underneath. We pretty much got everything that we wanted. As of right now, we're going to continue holding this since we're still trading at the entry, but we will definitely manage our risk if we start breaking back above the 33.39. But as of right now, since we're still trading underneath these lows here, it's still fine for us. But that 5-minute candle right here was very nasty. That's a very disgusting sweep and just rejection overall towards these exact lows over here. So this is where we have to be, again, very cautious. So let's see what's going on here with the market. I don't really like that 5-minute candle, but let's see what it is. Let's see. Back at entry, I'm just gonna update. Back at entry. I will hold for now. I have stop loss placed at 33.41.50. So our stop loss is going to be placed at 33.41.50, which is going to be above that other highs. But let's see. I feel like there's still more room to go here. I just honestly don't like that swept out of this exact lows here. That this is technically the Asian lows from yesterday. So this is like what I was telling you guys, where we have to be very cautious in these type of setups here. This is the setups that kept fucking me up from last week. Even though we get exactly what we want to see, but this is where we're just technically applying everything from the future, what is going on right now, to the past ranges, which the ranges in the past obviously have highs and lows, which those are levels just price action just continues respecting up and down. So that's the only thing that kind of turns me off whenever we're trading these type of ranges here, which I know is going to be happening most of the time. It's very, very obvious. But then there's times that, again, it's going to play out. So again, this is just playing out with the probabilities in this case here. So we have already hit take profit too, but we're back at entry. So it's not a clean trade yet. We could have gotten a break even because it was technically already a 101 risk to reward. Our stop loss is 40 pips. Our take profit too was 40 pips, but happened too quickly. So I'm not going to call that out. It's not clean. But check this out. Look at that 5-minute candle right now. Hopefully, let's see what we catch here, guys. Let's see if we get that move that exactly how we planned it. Hopefully we're able to actually close and then just tap these weekly lows here, and that's exactly where I'm gonna go break even, and then that's it, calling it a day from there on. But let's see, we have to hit those profits first. I'm not gonna lie, that 15-minute candle did not look good. But slowly moving in. Look at that, it's kind of dropping. That's beautiful. It's very nice. Very, very, very nice. All right, so market's gonna close in one. Let's see this new candle. We close underneath, exactly what we wanted. Now we just wait for that push. But we got technically what we... Damn, look at it go. Fucking hate it so much. It's just respecting out of these lows here. So in this case, so now check this out. This is what we're gonna do here. These are the lows that price action is just rejecting off from, right? Let me just, oh my god, what the fuck is going on here? So these are the lows which price action is rejecting off right now. And then we also have the weekly lows here from previous one, which was Thursday. But this is the overall lows that we are rejecting off, which was Sunday Asian session lows here. So what do we have to wait for here to see the ideal move that we're waiting for? Will be the same exact thing that happened in this case here. The same thing that happened in here. And now we're just going to wait for price action to do it now in these Asian lows. For it to actually continue. Because again, maybe these Asian lows over here continues holding and we might get that break towards the upside. That's the only thing that kind of turns it off. So again, I might close out this position if we do go back into the entry one more time. Because look at that 15. Yeah, that's a disgusting 15. Look at that 15 there. Like, what are the odds? It plays out super nice to a certain point. And then it does whatever the fuck it want to do. So this is why we have to be careful exactly at this zone. And we might be closing out early in the entry. So again, because look what happened over here. Same exact story. Push. The fake out. Push towards the upside. Same thing here. That push respected these lows. Another push. Another push here, another push here. So it shows us that this exact demand zone over here is respecting. And what are the odds that it was yesterday Asian session, which obviously price session is just having a sweep off it, right? So again, the only way that this trade will actually play out will be if we actually get a break and close underneath those lows here, which has been holding for a very long time already. That will be the only case. If not, then we're going to basically be bouncing off on the ranges back up and down. So technically the same exact shit that happened last week. And that's not what we want to see. That's not what we want to trade right now. It's very annoying to trade like that, but if the market wants to do it, the market wants to do it. Let's see. Coming back to the same exact range. If it closes above 33.39, we're going to close out the position here aggressively. So let's see. For now, we're going to let this play out. I'm going to set up the alarm at 33.39. That's it. And then we're going to set up the alarm here at 33.6. Let the market do its thing. Let the market do its thing. Now we're going to go into indices. Oh, fuck that. Look at what indices is doing here. Alright. Alright, so now let's go into US 30. We're going to be trading indices for the other group. Let's delete everything and then redo this all over again. Alright, so look at this. We're gonna mark up first thing first. Previous week highs, previous week lows. Very simple. Straight to the point. Weekly highs. Weekly lows. We can see that price action as of right now, we are trading underneath these exact structure. So look at this. This is the first thing first that we notice. First thing first that we notice. Second thing, maybe something I keep in mind. Yeah, this definitely can be something to keep in mind. So we look at it from a weekly and daily. Yes, we are overall still bullish, right? But notice exactly how price action was able to take above all of these highs here. these highs here, these highs here. We did make a new all-time highs here with US30, but we closed underneath all of these exact areas of previous highs, areas of resistance, right? We end up rejecting it off, pretty much sweeping off all of these exact highs and just closing underneath. So we're kind of seeing some bearish action going on over here. So in this case, let's see what we're doing here. Put this a little bit lower. I think this will make more sense at, yeah, right here. Perfect. That's a clean level. All right, let's go into the intraday structure. Kind of push a little bit more lower. I think right here. Yeah, that'll make a little bit more sense. We're technically trading, we're looking at it from this perspective, we're technically trading underneath these structures. These levels of previous highs is exactly where we're trading at. And then we also have these other lows here, which is technically respecting off, it's like a pullback, more of a reversal setup. If you notice this price action here, like this one, it's very similar to what market is doing right now. You guys can kind of see it a little bit here. So it's technically going to give us an idea, not obviously the full direction, but just an idea what is the possibility that price action can do here, since we're coming back towards the same exact levels, right? So check this out. We have the first high here. It's mostly like an internal high here. We have the pullback. We have another high sweeping off these other highs here, coming back, forming another high. So technically this pattern here will be considered as the head and shoulder, right? And then obviously you have the full break towards the downside. So you guys can see we have the first high here. We have the second high, which was technically the sweep out of all of these exact highs. Taking above these highs here, faking out the buyers, and then coming back underneath, pulling back, forming that lower high, pushing the market towards the downside. So we look at it in today's perspective. Same thing happened here. We have the new high, we have the higher low, the other high, right, which is a sweeping out of these lows over here or sweeping out of these highs here, taking above these highs, pulling back, and now trading underneath these exact lows. And as of right now, very simple. What do we see? That price action is trading underneath here and trading underneath over here. So technically we're like in a short-term bearish movement as of right now, not 100%. But short term, and the possibility can form throughout the session. So what am I going to be waiting for here with US30? We're simply just going to be waiting for those proper breakouts. That's all we're going to be waiting, because look at this, we're just trading inside of ranges here. So there's no point of us to be taking a trade either up or down. So very simple. We have this here that happens during the London session, right? We had the break respecting these previous highs over here, which the price session did manage to use it as areas of demand zone here, having another push towards the upside, coming back, rejecting off the structure. So technically we're respecting a higher time frame perspective right over here. Highs, 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 respecting it. We're seeing another push towards the downside. Now, the reason why we're not going to be taking a trade in here, because what are the chances that price action just bounces off from this level and start having the push towards the upside? Again, it's always going to be 100%. It's always going to be 50-50% with all of these type of probabilities that can happen. So in this case here, if we look at it from a 5-minute perspective, we did see this little move towards the upside. Very choppy move. We have the rejection here during the New York session open. The push, the pullback. We are respecting these exact gap right over here. You guys can clearly see that perfect gap. And now all we're waiting for is for a proper direction information, right? Because again, we're just forming these highs and these lows. So it's not really a clear direction just yet. So as of right now, we're just going to be waiting for that breakout. Let's see what gold is doing up to right now. I feel like gold is still inside the ranges. Slightly in profit. Slightly. It's not even in, yeah, like 10 pips in profit. Damn. I want that full fucking move. That's what I want. But slightly in profit. I feel like with gold, I think the best bet here with gold to have that perfect risk management here. Our take profit 2 would that technically be a one-on-one risk to reward. So in this case here, if we do come back to that take profit 2, I'm going break even, and that's it. Because again, that break even is going to be, that break even phrase is going to be right exactly at these lows here. So we have to be safe in this case. Protect the capital. Leave at 30, it looks whatever. I just don't really like that 15, the previous one. That one is where it has me like, fuck, you have to be very cautious now. Or technically, yeah, this 5 minute, this is what we also want to see a break off. This 5 minute lows that is just kind of respecting off too. So I'd say a break underneath these lows here will also make sense for us. But you see how it's just reversing on us now? That's where we have to be very cautious. So if we do end up getting out of this trade, we're going to get out at 39, which will be a 25 pip stop loss. So it's going to be very, very aggressive. So just be patient here. We're at negative 10 pips right now. Honestly, here with US 30, look at this US 30 here. I think we might going to be taking this long position here. So that we're respecting this exact gap here in the 5 minute. And the 5 minutes having that nice bullish move. So our stop loss will be definitely underneath these lows here. And then our take profit will be above these highs. But let's say we're able to close above this block here. We have 1 minute for this move to happen. It's very similar trade to what we took last week. Yeah. Alright, perfect. So we just end up taking these buy position here with US 30. Very similar, like. Alright, so our entry with US 30 was at 44,930. We got a perfect candle closure above this gap here. This is beautiful. Now we have our entry 44,930. Stop loss is going to be 88.30, which is underneath these lows. And then take profit 1. We're going to set this up 44,960. $90, 45, 020, 45, 030. Alright, perfect. And then our take profit will be back inside these highs here. which will be a 1 and 3. All right, so we have 2 trades already in. Yeah, so look at US30. That was a nice play with US30. Exactly what I wanted to see. We could have waited for that breakout too, but the entry was there earlier. So why not take it? We got technically everything we wanted to see. That rejection towards the demand, the pullback, respected this other gap over here at the 5 minutes. Exactly what I wanted to see. So we're having that nice push towards the upside. Let's see, we have 44.90 will be our take profit too. That will be our take profit too at 44.090. Yeah, like right here. That would be our take profit. Gold right now, let's see what gold is doing. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, let's see. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but we're technically seeing everything that we want to see. I'd say break closure underneath this 5. Hell yeah, we're gonna see it drop towards the downside. So let's see. But so far, looking good. Looking good. Let's see US30. Still at the take profit 1. We're about to hit TP2 any minute now. So let's see. We're gonna leave this here for now. I'm gonna step out for a few minutes until we start hitting those profits. So US30 did end up hitting take profit 2, but check this out with gold. Look at this. Finally getting that full move that we've been waiting for all morning. Look, that's just beautiful. We just end up hitting, we're closing underneath the take profit 2, which is the idea what we want. So we're already at a 101 risk to reward. So at this point here, I'm going break even, leaving this trade risk free. No point to be holding it no more in a sense. So back at TP1, let's just screenshot this here. And we're gonna send this over. This is beautiful. We're about to hit take profit 2, which is exactly another thing that we want as well. So this play now beautiful so far. Back at we're gonna do this quickly. Oh shit. Quickly. There we go. Scrap this one. This one looks better. Alright, let's delete this here. I'm gonna put 101R secured. Close some profits and break even. There we go. Now technically this is a risk-free trade. We're just gonna let the market do its thing. So the entry was 3336.80. We'll close out this profit here. Leaving one position open, risk-free. We're gonna go back here in Trade Locker, and we're gonna put this account risk-free as well. $336. Wait, what? I'm gonna put this break even. Perfect. So now this is at break even now. All of the accounts are break even. Perfect. So we're gonna delete this. We had our short taken at this entry here. Stop loss was 3341.5. Okay, and then take profit is gonna be down here. All right, so we have holding this trades here already at risk free, which is dope. That's what we needed. So now there's no stress. There's no looking back at this and just being scared what's gonna happen. If it takes out a break even, it is what it is. So if it takes us out of break even, it is what it is. Like I was telling you guys, one of the most important thing that I was looking for here was the 5-minute candle closure underneath these exact lows. As of right now, we are closing under these exact other lows here, which are the Asian lows, right? Now, we did get exactly what we wanted to see. Honestly, if this position here will play out, then we can definitely look for a second entry that will be posted underneath these lows. And our stop loss will be somewhere between here, like our entry from the previous one. Not worth taking it, again, due to the fact that price action is just very out of everywhere. And if we're looking at this, we basically took this trade off the intraday structures. But if we look at it from a daily perspective, again, what we have to keep in mind is that the daily will continue rejecting off these daily lows here, right? So that's the only thing that kind of turns it off. Because in a sense, we're coming back towards these lows, which price action has been respecting the past couple times. Been respecting it since Tuesday of last week, Thursday, Friday. Once again, we're back at the same exact levels. So we getting everything that pretty much what we want. Let me see a second. If you take a look here with US30, it's like I was saying you, we did get exactly what we wanted. The only thing that was kind of the turn off obviously was off that 1 hour structure that we're still trading underneath these 1 hour resistance zones. So we did get the little quick bounce plays that we wanted. I say that if price action does end up closing back underneath here, then I'm just gonna close down my position at break even, is what it is. But the trade that I'm really excited for to see it hit will be gold here, which is obviously the only trade that I want to see hit as of right now. This one has been on my nerves the past hours. So I'm just gonna close this out here. I'm already technically done for the day. I'm just gonna let the market do its thing. I sent you guys the breakdown, the analysis, which is everything's gonna be posted in here. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back again tomorrow, and you guys will see the updates on these type of trades that we were able to take today. So peace out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.